Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin, the podcast where we bring you the latest news and updates from around the world. We're starting off with a story that's been making headlines in European politics. Hungary's new Prime Minister, Peter Magyar, is making waves as he works to reset his country's relationships with its neighbors and the European Union. After ousting Moscow-friendly predecessor Viktor Orban in an election, Magyar has been on a diplomatic tour, visiting countries like Poland, Austria, and Germany. Just yesterday, Magyar met with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Berlin, where he expressed his readiness to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskiy. The meeting is seen as a significant step towards improving relations between Hungary and Ukraine, which had been strained under Orban's leadership. Magyar has stated that he's optimistic about resolving issues related to the rights of the Hungarian minority in Ukraine, and he's expected to meet with Zelensky soon. Magyar's efforts to build ties with other EU countries have also led to an agreement to unlock €16.4 billion of EU recovery and cohesion funds that were frozen under Orban. This move is seen as a significant step towards Hungary's reintegration into the European community. It's worth noting that while Magyar takes a less confrontational approach to Kyiv, he still has concerns about the rights of ethnic Hungarians in Ukraine. He's pushing for progress on this issue before agreeing to support Ukraine's EU membership bid. As we watch these developments unfold, it's clear that Magyar is working to strike a balance between his country's interests and its relationships with other European nations. We'll be keeping a close eye on how these efforts play out in the coming weeks and months. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're taking a closer look at a significant development in the world of journalism and government transparency. The Pentagon has designated its press office as a classified area, effectively barring journalists from entering the space. This move has raised concerns about the accessibility of information and the relationship between the media and the military. According to reports, the decision was made due to the presence of speechwriters who handle classified material in the area. As a result, journalists will no longer be permitted to enter the office space. This change comes after a series of restrictions imposed on journalists by the Pentagon, including the requirement for escorts while on the premises and the implementation of a new media policy. The New York Times has sued the Defense Department over these restrictions, arguing that they violate the First Amendment and are an attempt to prevent independent reporting on military affairs. A federal judge had previously ruled in favor of the Times, striking down earlier restrictions. But the Pentagon has responded with even tighter regulations. It's essential to consider the implications of this decision on the freedom of the press and the public's right to know. While national security concerns are valid, it's crucial to strike a balance between protecting sensitive information and ensuring that the media can hold those in power accountable. We'll continue to monitor this situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. What do you think about the Pentagon's decision to classify its press office? Do you believe it's a necessary measure for national security? Or does it pose a threat to transparency and accountability? Share your thoughts with us on social media using the hashtag Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a closer look at the escalating tensions between Iran and the United States. The situation has been deteriorating rapidly, with both sides engaging in a game of cat and mouse. Iran's hardline elites seem determined to keep confronting Washington, despite the devastating economic consequences for their own people. The Iranian government has concluded that compromise will only imperil them further, citing Israel's and Washington's previous attacks as evidence that the U.S. sees Iranian outreach as a sign of weakness. As a result, they've reoriented their strategy to use negotiations as a tool for managing warfare, rather than seeking a genuine peace settlement. This approach has led to a zero-sum dynamic, making true peace nearly impossible. The regime believes that confrontation strengthens its hand, and it's happy to withstand economic pain if it can control the Strait of Hormuz. On the other hand, the U.S. has refused to leave the strait in Iranian hands, setting the stage for a prolonged standoff. The consequences of this stalemate will be severe, not just for Iran's 90 million residents who face a continued collapse in their living standards, but also for the billions of people worldwide who depend on the Strait of Hormuz for oil, gas, and fertilizers. However, from the Iranian government's perspective, this outcome is not necessarily bad news. The regime remains functional, operational, and cohesive, having demonstrated its ability to withstand extreme pressure and single-handedly weaken the global economy. As we consider the implications of this complex and volatile situation, it's essential to approach the topic with nuance and balance. Both sides have valid concerns and grievances, and a peaceful resolution will require a deep understanding of these complexities. For now, it seems that the world may be settling into a new normal, characterized by skirmishes, blockades, and a perpetual state of tension. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay engaged.